All right, let's bring this all home. The JSE is down by 0.5% or so at the moment after it rose yesterday. Naspers once again weighing on the market. The rand a little bit stronger. We'll get some analysis shortly. First, let's take a look at your main financial indicators. All right, for some analysis, I'm joined by Makwe Masilela from BP Bernstein. Thank you for being with us.
Pleasure.
Overall, we're down, and it looks like that's all Naspers again. It was up yesterday, down again. And I'm interested to know, this whole multi-choice saga that was playing out, is that making any difference? Or is Naspers just following Tencent, its investment in China, and the market following suit?
You know what's very interesting, that Tencent overnight, Hong Kong was stable. So, but Naspers itself, they had what they call the Investors' Day in New York. So since yesterday, the investors are not too pleased about all that. Talking about multi-choice, I think that has already been baked in. But it's very interesting, to think that Naspers itself, they make almost 80% of their earnings out of South Africa, and what they're making out of multi-choice, it's just a little bit. So if I was them, I will definitely unbundle. And given that, yes, you see all these dishes out there, but chances are half of them are no longer working, people are no longer paying their subscription, and most importantly, people who are supposed to pay, they're also getting things now free from the internet. So if I was multi-choice, I'll just unbundle. If I was Naspers, I'll just unbundle multi-choice.
So you agree with those who say we can't see what's really going on with Naspers, especially locally, because the share is so driven by what's happening in China right now. We're just not getting the full picture.
Tencent is leading all the way. If Tencent does X, then multi-choice will just follow suit. So back home here, multi-choice is doing absolutely nothing.
All right, another interesting one, Steinhoff, of course, which started recovering this week. I think it's down again a little bit. I guess the company is trying to find some way to stabilize. It's looking for cash even, which isn't a great sign. Do you think they're doing enough to at least try and get the market calmer?
Personally, I don't think they are. I don't think they're taking investors serious. So because, they just appointed people to be on subcommittees, the very same guys who were on the board, For me, you should get rid of all that.
Clean
get
slate.
new independent guys.
PwC investigating.
Yeah, but now you appoint the very same board members, Johan van Zyl, the Boysens, who were there, who were part of this whole thing, part in a sense that all these things happened in their presence. Then you tell us that these are the guys who will come and form a subcommittee. But besides that, apparently, these guys, they had some off-balance sheet entities that they used to be able to do or obscure some losses and enrich themselves. So that has to be investigated. And it's very interesting. Steinhoff had this thing of buying companies which were stagnating or not doing so well. But shortly after they bought them, those companies, they started doing well. And as well, you check what their cash flow trends, they don't coordinate with their EBITDA.
And we don't even know what is going on. In fact, you're talking about the claims of off-balance sheet investments used to hide losses, and that would be fraud and illegal and demand action, right?
By all means. And if you think about it, now we're busy evaluating Naspers on the numbers which are not real. Up until we get the real information, the market will continue to speculate. As a result, Steinhoff itself can easily double or half or even get to zero up until we get the exact information.
It's interesting because Steinhoff was only behind IKEA in Europe. So you're talking about massive retail operations, manufacturing operations linked to that. So because there's real activity, some people have asked me, could this company really go down? But I guess the question is, how much debt do they have? How much do they owe? Is there a money problem? Even though you've got all those operations?
There will be a money problem. Hence, they've rescheduled their meeting with the bankers. They want the lenders to come on board to help them so that they don't call up the loans. If the lenders decided to call up the loans, it's going to be a problem. For them to say that they want to increase liquidity, it tells you that if they don't get liquidity right, then the other companies will struggle.
So this means the company is in fundamental danger?
Exactly.
Okay, and you're talking about going to zero. Let's leave it there. Let's look at some of the market drivers. Not much at the moment besides Naspers. We've got the conference coming up, of course, which everybody will watch. In the meantime, the United States expected to raise interest rates, which has always been a little concern. What does that mean for South Africa? Tell us right now how you're feeling about that.
You know, that has been baked in, that the Fed will definitely increase. What's more important, and given that the markets are forward-looking, is to see what's going to be happening, you know, next year. Whether will they increase 3 times or so. But to be honest, the new Fed president who's coming in, I mean, that's the closest thing you can get to the previous Fed. So you don't expect anything new. So what will be interesting for the market is, will they definitely still increase? And they have to be careful. If they are too hawkish, that might not be good for the market. So yes, that's what's interesting in the market. And the tax bill, the fact that the Republicans also are talking now, they only have one more seat, you know, they're sitting at 51%. They might have difficulties to pass legislation going forward.
Yeah. So it will be harmful for the rand if it looks like interest rates will go up faster than expected in the US. Otherwise, everything's priced into the market.
Exactly, because now dollar assets will be more attractive, then people will be buying into them, then that will be weak for the rand.
What about retail sales? Something that we look at. Unfortunately, we can't see how we're doing right now. They're delayed. We've got figures for October. What are they saying to you?
You know, they come, okay, 3.2, but given that the previous one was 5.4, the guys are still doing okay, not too bad. But if you look the average between 2003 and 2017, we've been growing by an average of almost 4.5. So it's below the average.
All right, so no great shakes, but would it be better than expected, given the slow growth in our economy, the
Not really.
concerns about indebted consumers?
True that, but the market was just getting used to these numbers of just more than 5%. So it's worse than the market expectation, 3.2.
All right, so not great for our retailers. Inflation data, again, in line with expectations?
Very well. Market was expecting 4.7. We managed to get 4.6, which is a good number. When the Reserve Bank, they sit on the 18th of January, most probably they won't move unless if over the weekend something serious happens and then the rand gets to weaken. As we know that the weaker rand itself is inflationary.
We were talking about the fact that maybe we would see interest rates cuts right now because inflation data is looking so good. But there is, of course, the political uncertainty, the fears around the rand right now. So is it really those local factors preventing indebted consumers from getting more Christmas presents at the moment?
By all means, and for the fact that South Africa is a net importer, so a weaker rand is not good for inflation. So if the rand gets to stabilize, then definitely, maybe after January, then we might expect a nice interest rate decrease. But the 18th of January, I don't see the Reserve Bank cutting.
And it all depends what happens in December. So let's end it with what you're expecting sort of after the vote in the elective conference, which is just upon us right now.
It can go either way, but yes, the market so far have factored, or the rand itself, they kind of like the other party, the Cyril, to win. So maybe if that doesn't happen, then we might see the rand weakening on Monday.
How significant if there's a Nkosazana Dlamini zero win?
I think it will be very significant because even the likes of the Moody's, they gave us we are on the downgrade review for that. Basically, it gives the election, the conference to happen, and also the budget. So by end of February, they have to make a decision. So far with the rand strengthening, that is at the back of they expect, and maybe from the numbers that have been coming through showing that Cyril is leading so far. So I think there will be a reversal of all that.
Yeah, so it would be an upset if he did not come out on
upset
tops.
To the rand.
All right, so all investors biting their nails this weekend. Thank you for your time this afternoon. Makwe Masilela from BP Bernstein. That's a wrap market-wise.